Okay.
How lovely to have you here.
My pleasure. This is my daughter's house.
I know, and isn't she? She's forgotten the words already. Can you believe that?
You're getting old, see?
Aisha, do you get tired of that, people singing that at you? And
no, I don't. I don't, not at all.
What a song to have written for you. Wow, that's something, isn't it? Stevie, so you're over here, you're touring, you're performing. Why did you get back on the road? What prompted you? Because you haven't toured for a long, long time, have you?
Yeah, it's been a good while, about 10 years at least. In 2006, my mother passed away on the 31st of May. And, you know, for us guys, our mother's our first love. So, you know, you grow up, the first love of your life is your mother. And through having a wonderful mother, you learn how to really love a woman. So she was wonderful. And I had said when she passed away, I said, you know what, I'm done, it's finished. I want to just do nothing for a year. And then I went to this vacation thing, and I was having I thought I was awake, but one of my assistants, Ron, was saying, hey, you got a phone call, you got a phone call. And I said, hello, and this voice says, hi, baby. And I said, Ma, how am I hearing you? And you know, it's like, I'm thinking it's so real. And I said, Mom, where are you? She said, how do I sound? I said, you sound wonderful. She said, are you okay? I said, I'm okay. And I said, Mom, I want to come where you are. And I woke up. That was it. But it let me know that she was okay, and it let me know that, you know, no matter what happens through life and death, no matter what, she's going to always be here for me. And so I decided to come out and perform in 2007. We did a Wonder Summer's Night throughout the States, and I decided to come over here and really to thank all of you for the contribution that you've made to my career, to just the many things that have happened because of your love and support. Obviously, you know, you made it possible for me to get toys for Aisha when she was little. My kids now, Madeline and Kylan, who are little, and got some toys myself too, you know. So.
Kylan is your son, is that right? He's how old is Kylan now?
Kylan is 7.
And I've seen footage of Kylan. Now, he shows some pretty serious musical skills here. He doesn't drum with you professionally, does he? Or does he occasionally?
Well, Kylan he did like 4 shows with me. And Kylan said, after the 4th show, Dad, where is my money?
Well, it's a chip off the old block,
I said, well, how much do you think you should get? He said, well, at least $50 a show. I said,
let's have a look. This is Kylan performing on stage with Stevie, and he's just a little chip off the old block. Look at this.
Oh, my son Kylan's playing the drums. There is superstition, writings on the wall. There is superstition, let us about to fall. Looking at the baby,
Kylan performing there with Stevie. He's got the chops, as they say.
you know, you got Kylan doing it, you got Aisha. I mean, what are they trying to do? They're trying to take over the show. What's up?
Taking it over, Dad.
Well, Aisha, you're going to be singing with Stevie later on. I know you have to go and get ready for that. So let's say goodbye for now to Aisha. She'll be back later on performing with Stevie. Thank you so much. Lovely to meet you. Thank you.
Okay, now that she's gone.
Now that she's gone,
let's talk real talk.
Dad can cut loose.
There's some amazing questions that I've had to definitely answer. One question people always ask is, when you go to sleep, do you see in your dreams? No. Okay?
Hold on. Let me just cross that off the list.
Okay.
That's number 4.
The other question. When Jonathan Ross puts his fingers up and says, how many fingers do I have up? Am I looking at them? Absolutely not.
I wouldn't do that to you, Stevie.
And the final question. When you're making love, do you close your eyes? Can I keep it real?
You can keep it real.
Absolutely not.
Oh,
I want to see what I got.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, let me ask you about your early days. Let me ask you about your early performances, because I remember getting hold of one of your early albums, and I know I was already aware of your work as an adult. And then someone gave me one of the little Stevie Wonder albums, and it was just a remarkable sound. What an incredible voice, what musical skills, just unbelievable for a person of that age. How old were you when you started performing? And do you ever look back, or at the time did you think, you know, I'm missing out on a normal childhood? This is great, of course, but it's a different life. What was it like for you as a kid, being a performer at such an early age?
Well, you know, the first... I first started out with Motown. I was almost 11 years, so I was like in March of 61 is when I started. And the first record we put out was called, I call it Pretty Music, but the old people call it the blues. And I remember Marvin Gaye played drums on that. And then we did another song, Little Water Boy, with Clarence Paul, who was my producer and musical director for a while. And then we did, I think, Sign My Contract on Love, which was written by Lamont Dozier. And then we had the Fingertips, which was the single that got kind of popular.
Yeah. Was it number 1? Did it go to number 1?
It did go to number 1, yes.
This was back in '63, I think, is that
Yeah,
correct?
it's amazing because I was like, you know, the album was called The 12-Year-Old Genius. I was saying, I'm not 12, I'm 13.
You mentioned Marvin Gaye there, you mentioned Lamont Dozier. You know, these are names that to us are, you know, iconic, legendary names. You knew these guys, you worked with them on a regular basis. Motown must have been a remarkable place to be.
Amazing for me because you got to think, I didn't even understand that I was there to determine if I would have a job or not. I was just, you know, enjoying meeting the different people. I mean, I'd heard of Diana Ross and, you know, Marvin Gaye and the Temptations, the early group of the Temptations, and it was like, wow, it's like being in a candy shop, you know, just meeting all the different people and playing all the different instruments. And when I was doing some things, you know, I think they called Berry Gordy up. He was at home having a steak, supposedly, and I finally met him, and I remember I met him and Smokey around the same time. I said, yeah, Smokey, you know, I can sing better than you. He says, great, great, great. And I met Berry Gordy, and he said, well, you play good harmonica, but I don't like your singing. And so I said something stupid like, I understand you cheat people out of their money, and some stupid stuff.
A precocious youngster.
Which is completely not even true. And that's how it all started.
Wow. We have a clip of you performing when you were 14 years old in a film called Muscle Beach.
Everybody come on, yeah, yeah, clap your hands. Yeah, everybody come on, yeah, 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 clap your hands, yeah. Come on and clap your hands, stomp your feet. Get with the rhythm of Happy Street, 'cause that's my street, Happy Street.
That was a song called Happy Street, and that was an amazing story too. I guess I'll write a book pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, no, why haven't you done that? You must have been asked, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I just, you know, I think I wanted to divide my life story into two parts because I've been so blessed to have so many things happen and, you know, just meeting so many wonderful people that have been in my life. And so I'd like to kind of talk about maybe the part up to the time that we had the car accident in 73.
That's about 73, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm just fascinated by that period in your life because when you went back in, and I don't know how many of you know this about Stevie, but he went back to Motown and renegotiated his deal with Mr. Berry Gordy and the Motown group and got a tremendous deal. And that was about 71, would I be right? Was that about the right time when you did that?
That was the first deal, but the major deal they're talking about was when we started working on the
big one.
Songs in the Key of Life.
Or 75 or so.
Yeah.
But in that period there, then you had a period of just unbridled creativity. I mean, those albums in that period there, you know, we've got Inner Visions, we've got Talking Book, those albums, there were about 5 or 6 in a row, just remarkable albums which kind of changed the shape of American music. What a remarkable period. What went on there for you? I mean, how did you open up in that way? What changed in your kind of attitude towards work or music that you suddenly shifted gear so drastically?
You've got to remember that I really started writing songs, maybe really seriously thinking about writing songs at maybe 14, 15. As a matter of fact, the song that Aretha Franklin did much later on was a song I wrote when I was 14. I was on the tour with Jackie Wilson. The song was Till You Come Back to Me. And, you know, I always had this big, giant-sized bag of tapes that I carried around. And I wrote My Cherie Amour in like 1966.
So how old were you then when you wrote My Cherie Amour?
I was 15 going on 16.
15? That's remarkable. If I didn't know you better, I'd call you a liar.
Look at my eyes, you know I'm telling the truth. But I think the 70s, for me, was the time where I was introduced by Bob Margaloff and Malcolm Cecil to the Moog synthesizer. I'd listened to Switched on Bach and the different people that had worked with the synthesizer. So the Moog and then the ARP were ways of me taking the arrangements that I had in my mind and being able to play them on the keyboard. And so we were able to, in that time, work with Music of My Mind and Talking Book, Inner Visions, From Phineas' First Finale, and then Songs in the Key of Life.
But you also became politicised somewhat about that time, didn't you? And if I'm led to believe by your badge, you're a supporter of Barack Obama, of course.
I am.
You have someone here, and this is a momentous and historic moment in American history. And, you know, for you to be part of that as well must be terribly exciting. You're reasonably close with him. I know you spent some time with him, but he's obviously a fan of yours, and you're an admirer of his. Are you going to be in the government if he gets in? Will he be like the Minister of Music?
You know what? I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just saying, look, what we need in the world is change. What we need in America is change. And I have always said this for years, we must become a united people of the United States, and we must become a united people of the world. And I think that just as the world in South Africa needed Nelson Mandela, America needs Barack Obama. I have a song that I wrote and I did actually at the event, and it's called Fear Can't Put Dreams to Sleep. And the first verse says, from out of the blue there came to me a question, the kind that till you answer won't let you be. The question was, if I were blessed with the gift of sight, what most in life would I want to see? That made me think about a story about a boy who had no control of his feet or hands, who was asked if you could touch and walk again, what would you do? And he said, as I understand, if mine eyes were to see, let them be the witness of a world that is color-free. If my limbs were to move, let them touch and walk in a land where hate can no longer be. And if my ears were to hear, let it like the sweetest music be unity and a harmony. And if my mouth were to speak, let me talk about a land where love's for all and fear can't put dreams to sleep.
Well, I mean, it's no My Cherie Amour, but it's a good start. I'm just joking.
No, so I don't feel bad.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not crying.
Hey, I've got a couple more questions before we start with that. I know we're going to get
Go,
to music,
go,
but
go,
I've got
go.
so much I'd like to ask you.
Go.
You know, you mentioned your mother earlier. Obviously, she was such an important part of your life, and she still is. Did she write some of the lyrics with this? She used to help you with the songs, is that right?
She did.
Which ones did she help you with?
She worked with Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
Wow.
She did that one. And, God, she did a few things. But that one I remember clearly because I was downstairs bamming on this song at her house, you know, on Green Lawn. And I just said, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, oh, baby, da-da-da, And she came up with this, you know, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours.
Wow, and that's such a fabulous lyric. I mean,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it fits the tune. It's a brilliant...
I mean, the Republicans have used that, the Democrats have used it.
Yeah, everyone uses it.
Ka-ching! Ka-ching!
God bless Mum. There you go. What about some of your songs?
I wish you could have tasted my mother's peach cobbler. Incredible. But maybe I'll get Aisha to hook you up. She showed Aisha how to do it.
Well, I'd very gladly spend an afternoon with Aisha enjoying the family peach cobbler.
Don't lose your mind. Now. Don't lose your mind.
It's not going to happen, is it, Stevie? You know, let me ask you a couple of things, because I know some songs, we mentioned that Isn't She Lovely was written when Aisha was born, when she came into your life. But there's a song I love, another one, I Was Made to Love Her, and that was written about a specific woman in your life as well, wasn't it?
That was about Angie. Yeah, that was my first girlfriend. I used to I was living in Detroit. She was in Los Angeles, and I would you know, the things where you're on the phone, and you says, okay, let's go to sleep on the phone. And I'm on the phone, sitting up in the kitchen, like this, on the table, sleep. My mother would, because it's around maybe 6 o'clock, almost time for school. She come in there and said, boy, I know you don't have your ass on my phone. I said, no, get off my phone. And I wasn't on the phone, and the phone bill would come in. She said, you know what? Just because you're Stevie Wonder, you can't run up my bill to $1,000.
This is a different question altogether here, but you know, many people, when we get in the romantic mood, we put on music. We all love a bit of Barry White, it has to be said. Some people like a bit of Teddy Pendergrass. Many go for the Stevie Wonder route.
Yeah.
What would you listen to in the background if you're feeling that special movement coming upon you?
Stevie Wonder.
Well, you don't have to. You can just hum it.
That's what I'm saying. I can sing it too.
That's a lethal combination, isn't it?
As you know, baby, you're the sunshine of my life. I mean, you know, I could have called, but I'm here to say I love you. And I wish. Wish what? I wish that you would take off those clothes. No.
That's a new song. Now, I know you're a big fan of Ray Charles, okay? Who doesn't admire Ray Charles' career? His fabulous voice, his huge talent. They made a terrific movie of his life. I don't know if you get the catch
I saw
of it.
it, yes.
It was a terrific film. If they came to you and said, Stevie, we'd like to bring your story to the screen, would you agree? And do you, any ideas who would play you?
I don't know. You know, there's some great talent out there. You could do it. Come on.
Yeah.
But
I am ready.
Just say, I am Stevie Wonder. Say that. I am.
I am Stevie Wonder.
All right, Steve.
I think I've hurt my throat now, though. I don't think I could keep that up for long.
You got to sing, though, so watch it.
Oh, yeah. Well, the singing, as you know, I have quite the voice on me. You've heard this. I know you...
I was made alive.
Well, you were doing the other one. What were you doing? You were doing Everybody's Got...
I love that song. Don't you worry about a thing. No. Don't you worry about a thing. Cause I'll be waiting there when one more time. Come on.
Get the high part.
I've pulled something.
High part.
Don't you worry about a thing.
Oh, that's okay.
We go back to the other one. Okay, now, Stevie, what are you going to perform for us this evening?
Listen, I'll do superstition if you play drums.
Well, I will play drums if you do superstition.
There we go. We got a deal.
Okay, we have got a deal. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Stevie's going to go get ready to perform in just a second, but will you join me, though, first, in saying thank you to an amazing guest. We have been lucky to be in the presence of Mr. Stevie Wonder this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Stevie Wonder. Thank you so much. Thank you, Stevie. I'll see you over there.
All right.
I'm going to get my ribbon warmed up.
Stevie!